Ladies and gentlemen, you think it's the world holding you back. It's not. It's you. That lazy version of you, the one that sleeps in, scrolls for hours, finds excuses, skips the gym, blames others. That weak little voice inside your head that says, I'll do it tomorrow. Kill him, not with words, with action. Every damn day. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. You don't need another quote. You need to look in the mirror and be ashamed of what's looking back. Because deep down you know, you're not even close to what you could be. You're not in a battle with society. You're in a battle with your lower self. The version of you that wants easy, comfort, softness, pleasure. Destroy him. The real enemy lives in your habits. He lives in your excuses. He lives in your comfort zone. He hides behind the words, I'm tired, and I don't feel like it. But let me tell you something, winners feel the same way. They just do it anyway. You don't become elite by accident. You become elite by outworking every past version of yourself. You vs you. You win this fight every morning when you wake up. You win this fight every time you ignore weakness. You win this fight when you choose discipline over dopamine. When you choose to get up instead of stay down. No one's coming to save you. Not your parents. Not your friends. Not some fake motivational guru. You save you, and the only way to do that is simple. Outwork, outlast, and outfight your old self until he's dead, gone, buried. You want success. Pain is the payment. Sacrifice is the entrance fee. Obsession is the requirement. So go ahead. Fight every damn day. Because in the end, it's always been you vs you. Want a version of this speech in video script format, subtitle layout, Urdu translation, or Reel/Shorts voiceover lines? I can provide that next. You're not fighting the world, bro. You're fighting the lazy, pathetic version of you. People think the world is against them. They blame society. They blame their parents. They blame the government, the system, the economy, the weather, their genetics, their friends, their ex, the traffic, the time of day. Excuses. Excuses crafted by a weak mind to protect a weak version of you. The soft, fragile self you've kept alive for too long. But let's cut the bullsh*T. The truth is, your life sucks because of you. Not anyone else. Not your boss. Not your school. Not your circumstances. You. You're not fighting the world. The world doesn't even know you exist. You think it cares if you win or lose. It doesn't. You think people are watching and waiting for you to become great. They're not. Everyone's too busy with their own problems. The only war that matters is the one inside you. Every morning, every night, it's you vs you. There's a version of you who wants to grow, build, grind, train, dominate. And then there's a version of you that's addicted to comfort, that's addicted to being average, that loves that warm bed in the morning, the Netflix binge, the junk food, the fake dopamine. The fight isn't external, it's internal, and it's happening every second. You just ignore it because losing became normal for you. You wake up late, that's a loss. You skip the gym, another loss. You overeat, lose again. You procrastinate, you scroll TikTok for hours. You say, I'll do it later. I'm not in the mood, I'll start Monday. Loss. Loss, loss, and you wonder why nothing changes. You've been letting the weak version of you win every single day. You've been feeding him, protecting him, pampering him. You've made him strong. You think you need motivation. You don't. You need to become the kind of savage who doesn't negotiate with weakness. The kind of man who shows up whether he feels like it or not. That's what separates winners. Winners don't wait for perfect moods. Winners win regardless of how they feel. The real test, it's not when things are easy. It's when your mind says rest, and your soul says go. The weak version of you begs for ease. The strong version kills that voice. When I say you're not fighting the world, I mean this. The external world is just a mirror of what you've built internally. If you're soft inside, the world will eat you alive. If you've trained your mind to accept mediocrity, that's all you'll ever attract. You're not fighting bills. You're fighting the version of you who didn't level up and earn more. You're not fighting haters. You're fighting the version of you who still gives a damn what they think. You're not fighting bad luck. You're fighting your own poor decisions dressed up as fate. You're either building the strongest, most relentless version of yourself daily, or you're feeding the enemy inside. There's no middle ground. Every decision tips the scale. Every action either sharpens your blade or dulls it. You need to stop treating your weaker self like a roommate and start treating him like an enemy combatant. Destroy his routine, starve his habits, strip him of comfort, burn his excuses, make it impossible for him to survive in the environment you build. That's the only way the strong you rises. And guess what? That version already lives inside you. The beast is already there. He's buried under years of softness, fear, self-doubt, and society's programming. He doesn't need to be invented. He needs to be unleashed. You unleash him by doing what weak men refuse to do. You suffer intentionally. You train hard even when you're tired. You read when your mind wants noise. You move forward when everything tells you to stop. That's the fight. That's you vs you. So stop crying about how hard life is. Life's not hard. You're just weak. Make yourself harder. Make yourself undeniable. Make your new standard so brutal that your past self couldn't even survive in your presence. That's how you win. You're not fighting the world, bro. You've been fighting yourself this entire time. Start fighting to win. Every day you don't train, your weaker self wins, and he's a loser. Every day you skip training, every day you tell yourself not today. Every time you make an excuse, your weaker self claps for you. He celebrates, he loves it. You've just handed him a victory, and let's be honest, he's a loser. The kind of loser you should be embarrassed to let live inside you. You see, this isn't about fitness or just lifting weights. This is about discipline. It's about your identity. It's about war. The moment you choose not to train, whether it's body, mind, or skill, you're choosing to let the lazy, soft, defeated version of yourself breathe. And that's the problem. You've been feeding that version of you for far too long. He's growing. He's comfortable. He's becoming the default. You think training is optional. You think it's something you do when you're in the mood, when life's easy, when you're not tired. That mindset is exactly why you're stuck. Because training isn't about the body. It's about the war between what you want and what you should do. And every time you give in, you strengthen your inner loser. You let him live another day. You protect him. But here's what you don't realize, that version of you. The one who chooses rest, the one who postpones, the one who says, I'll go tomorrow. He's not just weak, he's dangerous. Because he's keeping you average. He's the one whispering lies into your ear. Lies that sound sweet, like you deserve a break. Or you've done enough. No, you haven't. You've barely scratched the surface. Every time you choose not to train, you miss the rep that was going to change your life. You skip the session that was going to sharpen your mind. You rob yourself of the progress that compounds over time. And guess who wins? Not you. The loser does. The one who's emotional. The one who's reactive. The one who's addicted to short-term pleasure. The one who has nothing to show but excuses and potential. And potential means nothing if you never cash it in. Understand this, your weaker self isn't some invisible ghost. He's real, he lives in your patterns. He shows up in your laziness, your distractions, your late mornings, your cheap habits. He's not hiding, he's right there every time you choose comfort over grind. And the worst part, you keep letting him win. You've let him make decisions. You've let him drive the car. You've let him run your schedule. And he doesn't care about your goals. He doesn't care about your future. He only wants comfort. And that desire for comfort is the very thing killing your greatness. But there's another version of you. One that's not afraid of pain. One that's hungry. One that trains like a savage. One that doesn't need motivation. He wakes up with purpose. He pushes himself. He stays sharp. He doesn't flinch at discomfort. He welcomes it. That version of you isn't created in comfort. He's built in sweat. He's built in lonely nights, early mornings, sore muscles, mental battles, sacrifice. He's built every time you do the thing you didn't want to do. That version of you wins every time you show up tired and train anyway. He wins every time you silence the voice that says skip it. He wins every time you dominate your day instead of letting it dominate you. But the truth is brutal. He can't exist while your weak self is still in control. One of them has to die. You can't serve both. You can't be disciplined and soft. You can't chase greatness and indulge weakness at the same time. Every day is a test, and training is the battlefield. It's the ritual that reminds you who's in charge. You don't train for aesthetics. You train for control, for mindset, for discipline, for war readiness. Because when chaos hits, and it will, the trained man survives, the weak man begs for mercy. So ask yourself, who do you want to win today? If you skip, the loser inside you gets stronger. If you train, he gets weaker. You choose every day, but remember, every day you don't train, your weaker self wins, and he's a loser. Let me know if you'd like a matching voiceover, short form caption, or thumbnail line for this keynote. No one's coming to save you. Fix your mind or stay broke and broken. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop acting like someone's going to knock on your door and hand you a new life, a new body, a new mindset. A fat bank account, a path out of depression, a shortcut to purpose. They're not coming. Not your parents, not your friends, not some motivational guru, not God, not luck, no one. You either fix your mind, or you stay broke. You stay broken. That's the truth most people run from. But if you have the balls to accept it, you're already ahead of 99% of people. You can keep blaming your past, your surroundings, your lack of support, the economy, your trauma. You can wrap yourself in excuses and play victim till your last breath. But at some point, you need to look in the mirror and admit it. You are the only one responsible for your situation. No mentor is going to carry you. No millionaire is going to come take you under their wing out of pity. No motivational video is going to drag you out of your bed and force you to work on yourself. You're not stuck. You're undisciplined. You're not lost. You're lazy. You're not helpless. You're addicted to comfort. That's the difference between people who make it and people who don't. Mindset. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your prison warden. And right now, for most people, it's the prison, filled with self-doubt, entitlement, emotional weakness, distractions, and comfort cravings. You scroll endlessly, consume garbage, repeat the same mistakes, and then wonder why nothing changes. Because you never fixed your mind, you never trained it, you never took control of it, you let it run wild, you let it believe whatever it wanted, feel whatever it wanted, react however it wanted, and now you're shocked that your life is a reflection of that chaos. Fix your mind, fix everything. Do you really think you'll make money without mental discipline? Do you really think you'll build a body without a focused mind? You think you'll attract the right people, build your empire, conquer fear, and live a life worth dying for? With a scattered, soft, undisciplined mind, you won't. You'll stay broke. Not just in your wallet, broke in your confidence, broke in your habits, broke in your soul, because if your mind is broken, your life will be too. It starts there, always, and don't get it twisted. Broke isn't just financial. You can have money and still be broke as a man, still be fragile, still be directionless, still be a slave to your emotions, still be at war with your own self every morning. You want to escape that. It won't be easy. It won't be fun. It won't be motivational. It will be brutal. You'll have to sit alone. You'll have to rewire your thoughts. Kill off your bad habits. Sacrifice comfort. Face demons. Build discipline brick by brick. But that's the only way. Because the longer you wait for someone to save you, the longer you stay at the bottom. And the world doesn't care how you got there. It only respects those who climbed out. You think you're waiting for a sign. This is it. This is the sign. You've heard it. You've seen it. But now you need to act on it. And the first step isn't changing the world. It's changing your mind. Build a mind that doesn't quit, that doesn't blame, that doesn't fold when it's tired. A mind that executes, no matter how it feels. A mind that says, I don't care if no one helps me, I'll still win. That's the mindset of champions. You fix your mind and your actions follow. Your habits follow. Your wealth follows. Your confidence follows. Your health follows. Your legacy follows. But it starts with you, alone, in silence, with no applause, no backup, no handouts, So here's the harsh truth one more time. No one's coming to save you. There is no magic, no miracle, no secret, just you and the choice to fix your mind or stay exactly where you are, broke and broken. Winners build themselves through suffering, losers complain and scroll. There's a brutal truth that soft people avoid and winners embrace. Growth requires suffering. Not optional, not sometimes, always. If you want to become someone powerful, unshakable, respected, you need to bleed for it. You need to suffer, endure, and keep going when your body, mind, and soul beg for rest. Because winners, they're forged in the fire, they're not born with it. They earn it, through pain, through hardship, through uncomfortable choices repeated over and over until their life transforms into something the old version of them would never recognize. You think champions become champions by being comfortable. You think lions are made by playing it safe. Absolutely not. Every single winner you admire has a history of suffering that would break the average man. They didn't scroll and wish. They suffered and built, and while others complained, distracted themselves, looked for easy path. Winners were in the trenches. Understand this clearly. Comfort is the drug of losers. Losers wake up and grab their phone before they grab their purpose. Losers scroll endlessly, watching the lives of people who earned what they're too scared to chase. Losers complain about life while doing nothing to change it. Losers find someone to blame. Society, the government, their past, their luck. They wait for motivation, for the perfect moment, for someone to save them. And while they wait, the clock ticks. The opportunity fades, and their potential dies, silently. But winners, they suffer on purpose. They know that suffering is the path. They train when tired. They study when bored. They show up when it's inconvenient. They fight through fear, through doubt, through failure. And they don't complain about it. They embrace it because they know every ounce of pain is building the man they're destined to become. If it's hard, it's worth doing. If it hurts, it's helping. If it breaks you, it's building something new inside. But most people never make it far enough to find out. They quit at discomfort. They hide behind phones, behind excuses, behind dopamine, because scrolling is easy, complaining is easy, blaming is easy. But suffering on purpose, that's hard, and that's why most people will never become who they could have been. You don't get to level up without pain. You don't get discipline without suffering. You don't get mental strength by watching reels. You get it by enduring what most people run from. So if you're suffering right now, good, that's the path, that's the cost. You want to be elite, pay in pain. You want a different life, sacrifice who you are now. But if you're wasting your time scrolling, hoping success finds you, or talking about how life's not fair, then understand something clearly. You're choosing to lose, because suffering is a choice, and so is weakness. When you wake up early, that's suffering. When you go to the gym after a long day, that's suffering. When you read while your friends party, that's suffering. When you work in silence with no applause, that's suffering. And all of that is building you, but when you scroll, when you complain, when you procrastinate, when you choose ease over effort, you're losing, slowly, silently, but surely. Winners understand this one core principle. Suffering is the seed of greatness. They don't look for hacks. They don't need comfort. They don't care if they're tired. They suffer now, so they never have to suffer later. They pay up front, and that's why they win. You want to be a winner? Then stop running from pain. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop being weak. Start choosing the hard path on purpose. Start showing up when it hurts. Start treating suffering like fuel. Because one day, all that pain you endured will turn into power. And while the losers are still scrolling, still complaining, still wishing you'll be winning, if you're not pushing past your limits, you're already defeated. Every man has a limit, physical, mental, emotional. But the difference between the average and the exceptional is simple. The average man backs off when he reaches that limit. The exceptional one pushes through it, not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Because here's the truth most won't tell you. If you're not pushing past your limits, you're already defeated. Staying within your limits means staying in your comfort zone, and comfort is where progress dies. It's where potential rots. It's where the version of you that could have been gets buried. The second you stop pushing, the second you settle for good enough, the second you avoid discomfort, that's when you lose. Not later, not next year, right then. That moment is the defeat. Most people will never become who they were designed to be because they've accepted the idea that limits are walls. But they're not walls, they're tests. They're challenges, they're opportunities to prove that you've got more inside. You just haven't demanded it yet. Every limb, it is a lie until you push it. When your body says you're done, you've still got 40% left. When your mind says you can't, it's scared, because it knows growth is on the other side. Pain is the signal that you're approaching greatness. But society has programmed you to avoid pain, to fear exhaustion, to mistake tired for done. That's weakness. That's defeat disguised as comfort. You don't grow by doing what you're already capable of. You grow when you do what hurts, when you keep going despite the burn. When you step into the arena knowing you might break, and doing it anyway, because real power isn't found in what's easy. It's built in the trenches, in the moments when your lungs are screaming, your legs are shaking, your brain is begging for mercy, and you push anyway. That's where confidence is forged. Not in theory, not in books, in war. And here's the brutal truth. Most people are already beaten and they don't even know it. They live soft lives. They've never tested themselves. Never gone to failure. Never stared at the edge and said, let's go further. So they talk big, but inside they're fragile because they've never faced their limits and kept going. You want to win in life? Then stop playing at 60%. Stop coasting. Stop being okay with average. Start training your mind and body to expect discomfort, to lean into the pain, to hunt the limits, because once you find the edge and push past it, you become dangerous. A man who pushes past his limits is rare, and rare is valuable. Rare is respected. Rare is feared. The world doesn't reward the mediocre. It doesn't respect the comfortable. It honors the savage who keeps showing up after everyone else quits. The one who chooses the harder path on purpose. The one who understands that pushing limits isn't optional. It's mandatory. It's not just about the gym. It's life, business, discipline, mindset. If you're not expanding your threshold, then it's shrinking. And the smaller it gets, the easier you break, the more fragile you become. One tough day and you fold. One bad break and you retreat. One failure and you stay down. But if you push every day, if you train yourself to seek that pain, you become unbreakable. And that kind of man, he's unstoppable. Understand this, the enemy isn't outside, the enemy is within. The voice that says, take it easy. The instinct that tells you to rest before you're done, that's the battle. Every time you give in, you feed the loser. Every time you push through, you starve him. So the question is simple. Are you living to maintain? Or are you living to dominate? Because if you're not chasing the edge daily, if you're not going past what you think you can do, you're not holding the line. You're retreating, and every retreat takes something from you. A piece of your pride, your potential, your power. Pushing past limits isn't motivation. It's obligation. It's what separates warriors from spectators. It's what turns discipline into legacy. Because one day, when you're done, when your story ends, the only question that will matter is, did you give everything, or did you quit at your limit? And if the answer is anything less than everything, you were already defeated. Life's a fight, and the first punch is thrown by you at you. Life isn't fair, it isn't kind, it doesn't wait for you to be ready. From the moment you wake up, you're in a fight. But what nobody wants to admit is this: the first punch doesn't come from the outside world. It doesn't come from your enemies, your critics, or your circumstances. The first punch is thrown by you, at you. Before the world even has a chance to beat you, you've already started the war against yourself. That voice in your head saying sleep in, that instinct to scroll instead of train, that little whisper that says you're tired, you're not good enough, you can't do this. That's you, throwing haymakers at your own potential before life even steps into the ring. And most people lose right there, knocked out by their own excuses, their own softness, their own fear. You want to know why most men never make it? Because they don't understand that the real enemy isn't out there, it's inside. You are your first opponent, and if you can't beat you, the world will destroy you. Look around, everyone's shadowboxing, posting quotes, talking about goals, pretending they're about the grind, but deep down, they're hiding from the truth. They're not fighting the world, they're avoiding themselves, afraid to confront how weak they've become, afraid to face the inner war they keep losing every day. Here's the truth you can't escape. Discipline is self-violence. It's waking up and hitting yourself with discomfort before the day does. It's making yourself suffer on purpose, before life forces you to. It's punching laziness in the face. It's breaking your own excuses before they break you. The strongest men you know, they've mastered self-destruction, not the kind that ruins you, the kind that refines you, the kind that breaks down weakness and builds up something harder, sharper, relentless. You have to break the softness in you before it breaks your future, because life doesn't care. It's not going to coddle you. It's not going to make it easy. It's a fight. And every day it's throwing jabs, crosses, uppercuts. Failure, loss, stress, betrayal, pain. If you're not conditioned, you're going to fold. If you haven't already knocked out your inner coward, he'll fold for you. And here's the part nobody tells you. You're already in the ring. Whether you choose to fight or not, you're in it. Time is punching. Regret is punching. Missed opportunities are hitting you every time you delay. Every time you play it safe. Every time you give in to weakness. So the only real choice is this. Do you fight back? Or do you keep punching yourself? The guy who skips the gym and says, "I'll go tomorrow." That's self-sabotage. The guy who wastes hours scrolling through other people's lives instead of building his own. That's self-betrayal. The guy who says, "I'm just not motivated." That's a lie disguised as comfort. You're throwing the punches that are knocking you out, but you can flip the switch. Start hitting back the right way. Start throwing punches that hurt now but build strength later. Wake up early. Train when you're tired. Study when you're bored. Work in silence. Embrace the pain. You've got to become your own coach, your own drill sergeant, your own warrior. Because once you defeat the enemy within, nothing outside can touch you. Most people are walking around defeated, and they don't even know it. They've lost the fight before it even started, because they lost to themselves. That won't be you. You won't be the guy who gives up before life even tests him. You won't be the man who watches his potential rot because he was afraid to get hit. You'll be the one who throws the first punch at weakness every single day. You'll get up early and strike procrastination. You'll train hard and hit back at laziness. You'll build discipline and destroy doubt. You'll keep moving forward no matter what hits you. And one day, when life tries to knock you out, you'll smile. Because you've already taken harder punches from yourself. And won. That's the mindset of a savage. Life's a fight. Always was. Always will be. But the real fighters, they know the battle starts before the day does. In the mirror, in the mind, in the small, private choices that nobody sees, but that build everything. So throw that first punch, not at the world, at the version of you that's holding you back. And don't stop swinging until he's gone. Comfort is for peasants. Pain builds kings. We live in an age where comfort is worshipped like a god. Warm beds, easy jobs, instant gratification, soft routines. Everything around you is built to keep you comfortable. But comfort doesn't make you strong. Comfort doesn't make you sharp. Comfort doesn't make you dangerous. It makes you soft, weak, passive. Comfort is for peasants. Pain builds kings. You were not born to scroll, snack, and snooze through life. You were born to fight, to sweat, to endure, to rise. And none of that happens in comfort. You want power. You want discipline. You want a legacy. Then you better learn to live in pain. Not just survive it. Embrace it. Because every man you've ever admired was built in fire. He didn't rise by taking the easy path. He bled for it. You know what separates kings from common men. It's not blood. It's not luck. It's what they choose in the moments that matter. When comfort whispers, "Take a break," the king chooses pain. When excuses creep in, the king chooses pressure. While peasants rest, kings build. Not when it's convenient, when it's necessary. Because they understand growth lives in pain. Let's be honest, you already know what you need to do. You know you need to wake up earlier. You know you need to train harder. You know you need to cut the distractions, the comfort, the poison. But you keep choosing softness because it's easy, because it feels good, because everyone around you is doing it. And that's exactly why you're average, because average is built in comfort. Excellence is built in suffering. Kings are sculpted through discipline, sacrifice, and struggle. When you endure pain on purpose, you become dangerous, because most people run from discomfort. But you walk straight into it because you know it's the price for greatness. Your mind will tell you to quit. Your body will beg for rest, but every time you choose pain over pleasure, you sharpen the blade, you harden the armor, you step one level higher, and the man who is okay being soft dies a little more. And that's the goal, to kill the peasant inside of you, the one who complains, the one who waits for motivation, the one who watches instead of works. That weak version of you needs to die, and the only weapon strong enough to kill him is pain. Real pain, repetition, sacrifice, the type of pain that makes your hands shake, your breath short, your mind scream. And still, you don't quit. Every early morning when no one claps, every lonely workout when no one sees, every rejection, every failure, every setback, it's all sharpening you. It's all building the man who can't be broken. Because once you've suffered by choice, you're immune to the world's attempts to break you. You think kings are born in castles, kings are born in chaos, built in war, raised by pressure. If you want to rule your world, you need to conquer yourself first, and that conquest is paved in pain. Not fake pain, not short-term discomfort, real, relentless, soul-breaking pain, because kings don't rise by doing what's easy. They rise by doing what others won't. They rise by saying no to comfort and yes to purpose. They rise by taking the hits and still standing, and when the world watches them win, it doesn't see the years of pain, but the king remembers every scar, every failure, every day he didn't quit. So the question is simple: do you want to be a peasant or a king? A peasant scrolls while others train. A peasant complains while others work. A peasant avoids pain and lives in fear. A peasant exists, but a king suffers. A king trains. A king chooses pain before the world forces it on him. A king doesn't beg for motivation. He builds it through discipline. A king bleeds now so he never has to kneel later. You want respect, earn it in silence. You want power, build it through sacrifice. You want to rule. Start by ruling yourself. And that means putting yourself through hell every day by choice. Because in the end, no throne is handed to you. You either suffer your way into greatness, or stay soft and die a nobody. Comfort is for peasants. Pain builds kings. Now act like one. Don't seek motivation. Create obsession. You vs you is war, and only killers survive. Everyone's chasing motivation like it's the missing piece. They want to feel hyped, feel inspired, feel ready. That's weakness, that's dependency. You wait for motivation and you'll wait forever, because motivation is a feeling, and feelings are frail, they come and go. You want to win, you want to dominate, then kill motivation. Build obsession. Obsession is different. Obsession doesn't care about how you feel. Obsession doesn't need a reason. Obsession creates its own weather. It doesn't ask permission, and it never quits. When you're obsessed, you don't need music. You don't need inspiration. You don't need the perfect time. You move, you grind, you do the work regardless. And that's exactly what separates the top 1% from the rest. The average man is fueled by motivation, but the elite are fueled by fire. They've trained their mind to live in the process, to crave the suffering, to breathe in the struggle, because they understand one truth: this isn't about others. It's you vs you, and that's war. This war doesn't have referees, it doesn't have rules, it's not clean, it's not fair, and it's never ending. Every single day you wake up, you're at war with yourself, with the lazy you, the soft you, the one who wants comfort, sleep, distraction. That voice is always there, and if you don't kill it, it will kill everything you could have been. Most people lose that war because they try to fight with motivation. I'll do it when I feel like it. You know what that means. You've already lost. You're already defeated. Because the man who waits to feel ready is owned by his weaker self. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to feel hungry. You're supposed to wake up with a mission, not a mood. You is the hardest fight you'll ever face. And if you're not obsessed, you won't survive it. This isn't about balance. This isn't about moderation. This is about becoming something different, something dangerous, the type of man who executes without emotion, who shows up when it hurts, who trains when he's tired, who works when the world sleeps. That's obsession. You don't rise by chance. You rise by becoming a savage, obsessed with the grind, obsessed with the process, obsessed with being better than who you were yesterday. And every day that you don't show up, every excuse you make, every shortcut you take, that's your weaker self landing a blow. He's winning, and if you let him win long enough, he'll bury you. Ask yourself, how bad do you really want this? Are you casually interested in success, or are you possessed by it? Because this game has no mercy for the casual, no reward for the half-committed. Only killers survive, killers of weakness, killers of excuses, killers of distractions, killers of the version of themselves that settles for less. Obsession is not unhealthy. Mediocrity is, comfort is, doubt is. The modern world has lied to you. It told you that intensity is dangerous, that wanting more is toxic, that grinding for greatness is too much. No. What's dangerous is waking up at 50 years old with regret in your heart and nothing in your hands. That's hell. Obsession is what turns nobodies into legends. You know why most people quit? Because they were motivated, not obsessed. Motivation can't carry you through failure. It disappears when things get hard. But obsession thrives when things get hard. It feeds on pain. It lives in resistance. Because an obsessed man doesn't need a reason to keep going. He is the reason. And when you become that man, when you are the standard, the fire, the storm, there is nothing that can stop you. Because you've already beat the hardest opponent you'll ever face, yourself. So don't talk about it. Don't post about it. Don't wait for a quote or a song or a video to spark your action. Be the spark. Be the storm. Be the weapon. And understand this. Every single day, you're in a war. A war that will never end. You, and only killers survive.